go.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. This is Frank. I'm Mike. I'm sporting a little bit different look. Since the last time you guys saw me, I chopped off the wool off my head. It was getting warmer in the summertime. I couldn't have that on my head anymore. I had to get that cut. Had to get it cut. Had to get the regular look going again. It's been way too long. Anyway, welcome to the show. A lot has gone on over the past weekend since our last show, I think on Thursday.
Yeah.
So the second round is now officially over with the NBA playoffs. We are now moving into the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and boy, are there some shockers. Yeah. Not to me, because I'm not shocked at all, because my predictions came right on through. But there's still a couple of surprises nonetheless. So let's start it off. Okay, with the Miami Heat and Philadelphia 76ers series that actually concluded first last week. So as we know, the 76ers, they didn't show up to play in that game 5, I believe it was.
No, they did not.
And Embiid, I think, had a horrible game that game. He had 20 points, but it was un-Embiid-like, no MVP-like. But who did show up for that was good old Jimmy Butler. He made sure he put that closeout game on there and shut them down. He had 32 points himself on that game. He had 8 rebounds. He outplayed Embiid by leaps and bounds in the series, and he showed you who should have been the MVP, I guess. Not really, but I think Embiid was actually shook by the fact that he didn't get the MVP award and that it went to Jokic again, which I completely agree should not have gone to him. Should have went to Embiid. But nonetheless, Miami goes ahead and defeats Philadelphia. And again, Harden, no show, right?
No show.
But no surprise. Because you remember we're talking about James Harden here, who, his whole career, he doesn't show up in the playoffs.
Look at this closeout game. This closeout game here, he put up 11 points, 4 boards, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. Those are exactly the same numbers that Ben Simmons was putting up.
Well, why are you surprised by this?
Because it's James Harden. That's why I'm surprised.
This is the same old broken record. Last year in Brooklyn, the same issue.
I'm not trying to hear that, man.
The year before, Houston? All the years in Houston, the same thing.
Houston on his back.
And then choke it in the playoffs. Always doesn't show up in the playoffs. This is a continuing theme, and we're going to get into another player when we're done with him about these playoffs too.
Okay.
But James Harden, I am so sorry. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but he's never going to win the championship. He is not that type of player. I don't know what it is. It's like any team that he goes on is just doomed not to succeed to get to the championship because he just does not have it to win it. And he never has. And he'll score a lot of points, or used to score a lot of points. I think his stock has fallen. If it hasn't fallen yet, believe me, after this series, it should definitely fall. He's an aging player at this point. He has completely declined the last couple of years, especially his scoring. I don't want to hear about Durant because Durant was on his team before, so that's no excuse. Disappointment.
Okay, so what about everybody else? So we're just looking at James Harden with the no-show. You had Tobias Harris was a no-show.
Well, Tobias Harris, what do you think you're going to get?
Tobias Harris, they kept Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. They let Jimmy Butler go for Tobias Harris.
Yes, they did. That was a bad decision.
They expected big things out of Tobias Harris because he used to play big, and now.
Well, what do you consider big? Because he doesn't average 20 a game.
He used to be. He used to.
Did he ever average 20 a game in his whole career?
I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did.
I'm sure at some point in his career, Tobias Harris was putting up about 20 points a game. He was that kind of a player for a few years.
Believe.
And then Danny Green, no show. I know the last game he got his ACL and MCL torn. You do know that, right?
So why did he play?
No, because that's when Embiid got fouled, fell backwards, and fell on his knee.
He tore his ACL now?
And he tore 2 ligaments.
Well, then he's done for next season, too.
Yes, he is.
And here's the thing with him. Danny Green, you are an okay player. You should have kept your ass in San Antonio with Patty Mills and Kawhi Leonard.
And do nothing.
And you probably would have won a championship.
No, they would
with
not.
that core team.
They haven't competed at all. Stop
with
it.
those players, they would have. But that he should have stayed in San Antonio. So that's what I'm saying. So he's history. And what was it, Maxey?
He put up 20 points. I mean, this is a kid we're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
you got to rely on him to get you 20 when you have Harden who only puts up 11.
Yeah.
Who should have been putting up 30 or 40.
Harden only showed up one game out of these series.
And
where he put up 30.
Embiid was, what, 20 points?
What do you want from someone?
7 of 24.
What do you want from someone that has a broken orbital bone in his eye, also has a torn ligament in his thumb? What did you want from him? I think the man
MVP
played
numbers.
From someone that has a broken orbital
Then
bone
he has to
and
sit
a torn
out.
ligament.
Then he should be playing.
He showed guts and
He showed
came out
guts.
and he played. Unlike some players that are out there that are just milking every little injury they can get so they can sit out.
I give him credit. He showed up because his ex buddy Ben Simmons can't even play. But anyway, so the bottom line is with Miami you had Jimmy Buckets with 32 points, and who's been under the radar but not really is Tucker. He's really helped them, don't you think?
Defense, man. The guy is hard-nosed defense. I know you don't like him, but I liked him on Milwaukee, and I bet you
Milwaukee could have used him.
Yes, they could have. Yes, they could have. They needed someone tough, and they didn't have someone tough out there.
Do you think that would have been better if they would have got rid of Lopez and kept Tucker?
No.
But we'll get into that. So, one thing about this Miami team, so Tyler Hero put up 10 points. He's been struggling a little bit, but he'll be okay. But before you go to that, you know what I want to talk about on that team?
Go ahead.
Mr. milking the checks there in suits or whatever clothes he wears, rag clothes or whatever.
Who?
Kyle Lowry.
Oh.
Boy, oh boy.
He has a bad hamstring.
Boy, oh boy. He plays one game. Oh, I messed up my hamstring again. I can't play no more. Another one. Another milker. Boy, I tell you. Miami, luckily they don't need him. They really don't need him.
He doesn't make much of a difference.
Has he even done anything this season?
Him producing 7 points, 3 assists, and maybe 2 rebounds. I mean, come on.
But when was that? Was that 3 years ago now? Was it 3 years ago they won that championship? In Toronto?
3 years ago.
3 years?
Yep.
Wow. And boy, has his stock fallen from, oh my God.
Age is caught up. The minus is caught up just like Harden.
DeRozan's about the same age and it didn't catch up to him. What are you trying to say?
Kept their bodies different, I'm guessing. But yeah, his hamstring injury is going to keep going on. I don't think we're going to see
shut him down.
I don't think we're going to see very much of him in the next series.
He's pulling a Derrick Rose.
We might see him if Miami makes it to the finals.
Is he pulling a Derrick Rose?
Hamstrings are long.
He's playing as many minutes as Udonis Haslem. Can you believe that bum is still on the team? He's more of an ambassador playing the role. He just won't retire because they might as well keep him in there for management.
They ask him to keep coming back. The Heat asked him.
It's not that. They want him in the organization.
Yes.
So I'm thinking they probably don't have any space for him in the coaching staff yet. So they're gonna keep him out there as a player, paying them league minimum.
Yeah.
So to basically coach the team, but as a player coach. But he has to play. When do you ever see him playing?
Never. He was ready. He was ready to fight Jimmy Butler halfway into the season.
Well, Miami, congratulations to Miami. They're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And who they're going to be playing is no. It ain't the Milwaukee Bucks, if that's what you guys thought. No. It is the team I told you was gonna take care of business. It took a little bit more games than I thought, but they ended up winning in 7 games, and that's the Boston Celtics. And by no means am I a fan of the Boston Celtics, but I was rooting the hell out of them for them to beat the Bucks. Because screw you, Milwaukee. I don't like your team. I don't like your players. I am glad you lost. I'm glad you're going home. You ain't repeating no championship. You ain't getting back there again. So that nice little run you had last year was nice. Tip my hat, if I had one on, to you. But your run is over. You're sitting down watching the playoffs just like me. And you completely did not show up to play the Celtics in the Game 7. The score indicates what it is. What was it, a 19-point game?
Yeah, 109
18-point game. That was a blowout from the start. And looking at the team, now Giannis did his thing, which you go back to, which I forgot game it was, I think it was 5. You're going to let Giannis score whatever he wants. That's what they were doing. Let him score.
He's going to get his.
He's got to go to the line. Let him get his 30. Let him get his 40. I don't care. Let him score. But who you do want to shut down and don't let anybody kill you there is, one, you don't want the bums like Grayson Allen playing you. You know how many points he had in that last game? 1 point. And that's exactly where you want him to be.
Yeah, he disappeared. After the Bulls, he basically disappeared.
Brook Lopez.
He looks like Ted Cruz.
I have some inappropriate words to say, but I'll leave it off the air. But I don't like. I'll just put it this way: I don't like him. He's a dirty, filthy, rotten piece of shit player, and I hope he gets what's coming to him when someone really puts a hurting on his ass. Cause dirty piece of shit. You know.
Wow.
I just can't stand him. I can't stand this whole team. I'm so glad they lost. But we're going back to it. Brook Lopez, 15 mediocre points. 15 mediocre
I don't know.
points.
I think that was pretty decent for him.
Which was too many to give up. But the hell with it. Fine. Now, Matthews, 3 points. They shut him down. Covington, whatever his name is. Covington. Yeah. 2 points. Him and Grayson Allen combined for 3 points. Okay, and that's exactly what you would do.
George Hill with 0 points.
Of course, George Hill. You should not be letting George Hill do anything. And then Bobby Portis. Good old Bobby bitch-ass Portis. 10 points. I'm so glad he was mediocre because they shut those guys down. All they did was rush their shot, turn the ball over, and they turned the ball over so many times. They were not ready. And the subtraction of Tucker, I think, hurt them. And, of course, the injury to Middleton hurt him. But oh well, no sympathy for me. Because when your dirty-ass player Grayson Allen injured Caruso, he was never the same. And he missed 2 months, and he was never the same after that, this past season. So I'm so sorry you missed Middleton. But now you're joining Middleton because your team is going home. Or as they say in TNT, gone fishing.
Well,
so
I don't feel that way about the Bucks myself.
Ain't defending. They're not going to be defending their titles anymore.
I'm a Greek freak fan. Giannis. I mean, the guy is amazing.
What does Serge Ibaka have?
And you can tell. You know, he is an MVP caliber type guy. I mean, if it wasn't for him, they would have not been in this game in this series at all.
They wouldn't be a playoff team.
No, it wouldn't. They wouldn't. Holiday is good, but he's just not as efficient as he should be. I'm still a fan, but they're gonna if they plan on doing anything next year. I know Middleton will be back, but there's no guarantees he's not gonna get hurt again because MCL sprain, knee issues, those things. If you got
several months before that.
Yeah,
it wasn't a tear. It was
nothing's guaranteed. But they do need to get some other players around Giannis.
But your boy Bobby Portis, what you think of his performance?
They're gonna keep Bobby Portis. He's still an energy guy.
Grayson Allen and Covington.
Grayson Allen, he might not be on that roster. Connaughton, he had a bad game the last game, but you know what? He put up a lot of threes, and he actually kept the Bucks in a couple of games with those threes. Like the comeback game, he sparked off 2 of those threes that sparked the comeback.
What about Brook Lopez?
So Brook is important on the team. I mean, his size alone is important. You see when he was blocking shots.
Yeah, he has the size. Okay, so we'll give him that. One other player I wanted to mention on here because I only see him during garbage time, and that's Giannis's brother.
Oh.
What's his name? Tiana? TT? Something like that? Tedius or something like that? Thanius?
It's Thanasis.
Thanasis.
Antetokounmpo.
So, anytime we saw him, it was with like a minute left in the game and the game's out of control. Rather than winning or losing. So, what was his average points per game? 3.6. Don't you think they should have gave him more playing time?
He's not that guy. He gets a lot of fouls
really quick. That's Giannis' younger brother, right?
He gets a lot of fouls really quick, and he's a terrible free throw shooter. So a lot of times when they put him out there, they foul him on purpose, and they put him on the free throw line, and he cannot shoot free throws. So that's his problem. But other than that, he's a high energy guy like his brother.
How many points can he give you? How many rebounds can he give you? How many assists can he give you? How many blocks can he give you?
Well, two rebounds per game, 3.6 points per game. But minutes wise, I mean, he's only playing 9.9 minutes per game. I mean, come on, what do you expect?
Why is that?
Giannis is dominant.
Well, why don't they sit Portis down and put his brother in there instead to play that?
Portis hits the threes at a higher capacity than Thanasis. Thanasis was not a bad player when he was in Greece in the Greek league. He was a monster.
Let's be honest.
Be honest.
If Giannis was not on this team, would Thanasis be on this team?
Probably not. He's a great cheerleader.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Now, so Milwaukee sucked it up, and they deserve to go home. But let's talk about the winners of the series, the Boston Celtics. Man, I can't say enough about Tatum, who really was the MVP of this series.
Mm-hmm.
And they had no answer for him.
And last series, too.
And they barely had an answer for Jaylen Brown. The thing about Boston, and here's how I knew they were going to win, because they play good defense, and I give them the defense. But here's the problem why I don't think they're going to win the next series. Boston, more heavily so than Golden State, than Phoenix, I think, is, man, what was the start of the game? I believe it was the start of this last game that they played in the game before. I believe that they started the game with like 12 or 15 points. All of those were from threes.
Yep.
They do not
splash.
They make a lot of threes, and they take so many. The problem that they're going to run into is they don't shoot good from the inside, and you have to be able to shoot from the inside and the inside paint to win the championship.
Agreed.
Threes are going to help you. Don't get me wrong; it opens up the floor. But if we all know what you're going to be doing, we're going to defend that 3-point. You don't need a double team on the 3-point line.
Agreed.
You only need one-on-one on the 3-point line. You know, Jason Tatum is going to make his, but he's streaky too. You know, he did very well and did enough in this series to win, and Boston did enough in this series to win. I don't think it should have took 7 games, but it took 7 games, which is why I don't think they're going to get past Miami, because Miami does defend the 3-point line, and they play good defense too.
Yep.
And so they have more than just 3-point shooters. They got someone named Jimmy Butler who could shoot from anywhere on that floor. You know, this game is more inside than outside. You know, he'll shoot threes, but not very many.
He can't hit them, though.
Yes. Now, one thing that they do that Boston does play defense, kind of old school defense, is Marcus Smart. He brings the energy, he brings the rebounds, and he actually can score sometimes when he needs to. You know, so he's definitely going to help them out. Al Horford. Now, it may not show a lot because he only put 6 minutes in this game. But if you looked him in throughout his entire series, 6 points. Teams, and Milwaukee made this mistake at time in and time out every single time. You leave him open to make a 3. And Horford can hit those threes.
Yes, he can.
So what you do with someone like Horford, you just play one-on-one with him. Do not leave him open to hit a 3. He's not going to drive it in and dunk on you. He's not going to stop and shoot the ball. He's a spot shooter at this point of his career and a rebounder. So what you do is you don't leave. If any people, anyone you leave, when you're on double team someone, do not leave him open. Leave Smart open. Let him shoot the ball. I'd rather let him shoot the ball. Let Williams shoot the ball. You know, or even let White shoot the ball. White can hit some threes here and there, but for the most part, he's a horrible shooter. Mm-hmm. So what was he? He only was 1 of 10. That last game?
You're talking about White?
Yes.
He was 1 of 10. From 3-point line, he was 1 of 6.
No, overall, though, he was 1 of 10.
1 of 10, yep.
So I'm saying, leave him open if he's on the floor. But do not leave Horford open to hit the 3.
Yeah.
Milwaukee did that way too many times where they sit there and leave him wide open. They leave Brown wide open. You leave Tatum wide open. You leave this team wide open threes. This is nothing but a 3-point shooting team. That's all they're going to do is shoot threes and play defense on you.
Yep.
And so Milwaukee, I guess, didn't get the memo about that. You know, because they figure, oh, we got Giannis, he'll score 50 on them and we'll win the game.
I don't think I don't think you saw who the difference maker on the team was for Game 7. They went after everyone that they should have went after. Milwaukee did, but
they couldn't stop Tatum.
But what did he get? 23 points.
Yeah.
What's the anomaly on the score sheet? What anomaly do you see there? Grant Williams.
27 points, 10 of
This
22.
man put up 27 points.
He had a hell of a game
because
he was unstoppable.
No, they let him open and let him shoot.
But even with that, he was still shooting everywhere.
They let him open because they weren't expecting this man to do this.
Yeah, because they had a double team.
7 for 18 from the 3-point line. He actually broke Steph Curry's record for threes made in a. It
was 10 of 22 from the floor.
I mean, he was a difference maker, and that's why Boston took that win and ran with it. That was the anomaly.
You think it should have took 7? You think Milwaukee should have beat them in less than 7
I think
games?
Milwaukee should have beat them at home in Game 6. And the minute that they lost that Game 6, I was worried.
It was an unusual series because the road team won 2 games each.
Yep.
Boston won twice in Milwaukee. Milwaukee won twice in Boston. So it was it came out of that last game, and the bottom line is Boston wins. So Boston moves on to the Eastern Conference Finals to play the Miami Heat. And I believe Game 1 is it tomorrow? Is Game 1, I believe. And so let's get into that. And we'll get into the West in a few minutes. But let's talk about the Eastern Conference Finals now, because it's set. It's all set and ready to go. And so it's going to be the Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat still the number 1 overall seed against the number 2 overall seed Boston. Boston does not have home court in this series. Miami does. This series could be a little bit. Boston could be a little bit of a nag for Miami, but overall, I think Miami is going to win this series.
I'm going to agree with you.
And I think they're going to take it. I'm going to say 6 games. I don't think it'll go 7, but I wouldn't be surprised because again, the East was wide open. Anyone could win it for the most part. The hottest team could win it. Miami and Boston are the 2 hottest teams in the East down the stretch of the regular season and into the playoffs. So they're on a roll. So it's only fitting that the number 1 and number 2 play each other in the conference finals in the East to determine who's going to go to the finals and represent the East. So it's going to be a great matchup. Butler, Tatum, Hero, Brown, Adebayo, Slur.
We know who's
so
on the Heat.
It's gonna be interesting. I expect nothing but a stellar performance from Butler, who's probably going to average over 30 a game in this series. The same thing with Tatum. I don't think Miami is going to contain him very well. He's probably going to end up getting about 30 points or so a game. It's going to come down to key players. I just happen to think that Miami has better key players than Boston.
These are the 2 best defensive teams, and Miami's the best defensive team in the East.
I don't think Tyler. We need a hero.
He's going to show up.
He's going to have a better series than the last one.
I predict Duncan Robinson's going to show up.
Oladipo. They're just sleeping on that man.
Yeah.
He's going to get more playing time. He just got back.
I know from an injury. I know he did.
Nah, they don't expect to get anything from Lowry because, again, he ain't playing. So
it's hamstring issues.
Yeah,
I can't knock him for that.
And what's he going to contribute anyway if he does play? Nothing. But an ass in the seat on the bench and go to someone else. So, what's your opinion on this?
I mean, I got Miami winning it. Boston's real good. I mean, I was wrong on basically all my predictions because I had, except for Golden State. Because I had Golden State beating whoever they beat so they can play Phoenix. But for Phoenix...
No, we'll get into that.
Phoenix got whooped.
We'll get into that.
So that's ridiculous.
So this
but as far as this right here goes, I'm gonna go with the Miami Heat. I think they're gonna play way better defense than the Milwaukee Bucks did.
Low scoring series because these 2 teams are.
Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be very many games that's gonna peak 100 points. I mean, there might be one or 2 games. The first couple of games where they feel each other out. Yeah, you might see like 100 points scored. After that, it's going to be a grind fest. And I think that Jimmy Butler is going to grind it out. You gave Marcus Smart all this praise.
Defensive Player of the Year.
And, man.
He's Defensive Player of the Year.
Man. I can't
see
someone else.
He falls on his ass.
This guy's on the floor like 26 times average per game.
What about Tatum?
26
What about Tatum?
times.
What about Tatum?
On his back.
Tatum's
always on his back. So
is
all
Brown.
they're doing is just baiting the refs, in my opinion, and pressuring them to make all these calls. Because even some of the games that they came back on Milwaukee, it was just basically them falling all over the floor. All you saw was bodies on the floor. Like these guys are just made out of paperweight now. You know, any little contact, someone's hitting the floor. I am not a big fan of that. And Miami does a little bit of their, charge taking and stuff like that, but it's not on this level. I got Miami beating Boston in 6.
Okay. Well, you got Boston. You got Miami in 6.
Yes.
So Miami in 6. Okay. Well, that's it. We both agree it's going to be a 6-game series.
I'm not a Boston Celtics fan. I respect the game. I respect their
I'm not a
game
Boston fan
and their
either.
hustle, but I'm not a fan.
Well, I don't like Boston either. I don't want them to win this round. I don't want them to win the championship. They won enough. I just want them to beat Milwaukee in the last round. So we both agree we got Miami going to the finals in 6 games. So now, moving on to the Western Conference, let's start off with the Golden State Warriors.
That's old. We talked about that on our last show.
Taking out the Memphis Grizzlies. So we know that what happened there, and the Warriors are gonna go on to the Western Conference. So I guess we did talk.
Yeah, we talked about this on our last show.
So they won that 4-2, and they moved on. But they're gonna be playing the winner of the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks, and the much anticipated Game 7. Why did it go to Game 7? Now, if you guys remember the last show, I think I mentioned that Phoenix should win this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas comes out and they end up winning this series. That not only taking Phoenix to 7, but beating them at 7. And what are we going to do? What's Phoenix going to do if they let Dallas beat them? And they were the darlings of the West, number 1 seed overall over 60 games. They were untouchable, and they can't even get past the second round against the Dallas Mavericks. And again, this has to do with, I hate to say it, the curse of Chris Paul on the team. I don't have to say this because if everyone's been watching TV, you've been seeing they showed every team that gets into the playoffs that Chris Paul's been on disappointment in the playoffs. Team that goes up 2-0. Most of his teams that he goes on, they go up 2-0 and they end up losing the series.
Happened to him 5 times, which is an NBA record.
Now, you could put a lot of the blame on him because his shooting was horrible. He didn't wait to show up until the 4th quarter.
They wore him down.
But let's talk about just the setting here. Phoenix Mavericks. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks. Phoenix is at home in their comfort zone. At home, they earned that 7-game series for the rest of the playoffs to play their 7th game at home. You would think you have all the energy on this elimination game. It's do or die. It's win or go home. It's all or nothing because you let it get to 7 games. So now you got to make sure you take care of business and move on because Golden State's already waiting for you. So they're just deciding they got to travel to Phoenix or they stay at home. And Phoenix couldn't have been more disappointing for a piss poor lack of interest showing up for this game. I mean, they had, what was it, 20-something? Was it 27 points? I want to say 27 at the half. I think they had 47 at the half. I thought
no, that was too much. I think they were in the 30s at half.
They had such a low score. And the score just kept ballooning and ballooning and ballooning, getting higher, fast, worse and worse. It got to the point where it was almost 40 or 50 points?
It was.
Something like that, almost. And
at halftime they had
27. That's what it was. 27 points at the end of halftime.
Yep.
At the end of halftime, the highest scoring team I think in the league, Phoenix Suns, number 1 overall team. Game 7 of the playoff series to determine to get to the conference finals, and you only muster up 27 points while you gave up 60?
Yeah.
I mean, it was already a damn near a 30-point blowout from that point.
It was a whooping.
And then it got even worse in the second half. And they were saying, "Oh man, what are you going to do? We're waiting for Phoenix to try to make some kind of a run."
Well, they did. They got 40 points in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, but
too little, too late.
Yeah, 40 points because they basically set everybody down.
Yeah.
So now, what do you want to credit this on? Do you want to credit this on Dallas's defense, or just Phoenix decided to just pack it in before the game started?
I'm crediting it on Dallas's offense and their defense on Chris Paul. They put a lot of guys on. They put 3 different guys on him. Every time he looked up, he had someone else pressuring him. He got tired.
2 players, really 3 players that stand out in this game for me with Dallas. Of course, Doncic, who scored 35 points. But Dinwiddie, 30 points.
He showed out.
And then Brunson, 24 points.
You expect that from Jalen Brunson now, though. He does this on a nightly basis now.
But Dinwiddie putting up 30. They had three players that showed up who scored over 20.
Yep.
2 over 30.
Yep.
And the rest, who was the second? Who was it? Everyone else scored single digits on that team.
No one else scored double digits.
You know,
those 3 guys.
But they all played defense and they rebounded the ball and threw it to the players they needed to throw it to who were high. And now you go to Phoenix, and you look at Ayton, 5 points.
He's not going to be on the team next year.
Bridges, 6 points. Jay the Coward Crowder,
5
points. Jay, where were these threes you were hitting the other day?
Yeah, he was 1 for 6.
You did nothing. You didn't show up. And Chris Paul, 4 of 8. Good percentage, but 8 shots only. You only got 10 points. You know that's not going to cut it.
No.
That's what I'm saying. In the playoffs, you should know by now. Chris, you're going to need you to put up 30. We need one of your 30-point games. This is game 7, man. And then you had
Cam Johnson, which was their highest scorer at 12 points.
No. Booker. Let's not take him off the hook now. He was 3 of 14 from the floor. He only put up 11 points. 11 points in the game 7 of the finals. 11 for Booker, and then you had Paul with 10. Only 21 points amongst those 2.
Piss poor. I was with Phoenix all year.
Who was the highest scorer? Johnson.
Cam Johnson.
12 points. 10 points. I'm sorry. 10.
I was with Phoenix. No, he had 12. I was with Phoenix all year. I was telling them I had Phoenix coming out, beating Golden State.
You gotta be more disappointed than anything.
I am very disappointed because I watched this and halfway through the game, I was done.
When did you know
I turned it off at halftime. I turned it off. I was done watching it because I can see what these guys brought.
Did you catch and saw how the score kept getting worse?
Yes. I just pulled it up on my phone. I was like, all right, I don't even want to see it because it was just like they didn't bother showing up, or it was like the pressure got so much they just said, forget it. All right, you know what? Forget it. This is a game 7, man. You fight till the end until you know, to try and make it.
If you lose, you lose by 2 points. It doesn't matter.
You wasted a whole season of having the best record.
And then the worst game of the season,
just to do this on a game 7.
The worst game of the season.
And
game 7.
And Chris Paul at the conference,
the podium,
was like, oh, we'll be right back here next year.
No, you won't.
For what?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
They will be back there again next year, Frank.
No.
They will be back.
What did I tell you? No. But what did I tell you? What did I say? What did I say? Okay, I'm not just talking out my ass here. I said this from the start, before the season even started, at the end of last season. Phoenix Suns blew their chance to win a championship
this year
when they lost to Milwaukee last season, when they had a 2-0 lead, another Chris Paul-led team, 2-0 lead against Milwaukee in the finals last year, and they could have won that series, and they choked it away. Same thing happened. I knew they weren't going to get to the finals. I knew this. I was disappointed in the fact that they lost this because I really wanted them to play the Golden State Warriors in the next round. Because I wanted it to be the Warriors that really puts it to them.
Yeah.
But I guess they're not even good enough to play the Warriors, obviously. So
they didn't deserve to be in there. I got nothing to say.
So that's all I'm saying. I called this. I said that I didn't call this series. I was wrong in the series. I had Phoenix winning. But I said Phoenix, it's not going to matter whether they win or not. They're not coming out of the West. They're not winning the championship. It's not going to happen. They had their chance. Chris Paul will never win a championship. I hate to say he never will. Him and James Harden will never win a championship. They're like Karl Malone and Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
No matter what team they went to,
they
cannot win.
They couldn't get over that.
They're not going to win a championship. And don't sit there and say, you're being mean. No, I'm not. How many years have these guys been in the league? I would say the same thing years ago when Karl Malone and John Stockton and Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing were playing in the Jordan era. Even after the Jordan retired, they still couldn't win anything.
Yeah.
They're just those type of players that they're great Hall of Famers. They put up great numbers, MVPs, defensive player, all that other stuff. But when it comes to the big one, the NBA championship, you'll get to it maybe, but you're not going to win it. And most times you get to one and that's it. You're not going to go to another one.
That's a shame.
So, with that being said, we got the Western Conference Finals all set up. Interesting matchup. We have the Dallas Mavericks and go against the Golden State Warriors, which the Golden State Warriors lucked into getting home court in this round because they were the number 3 team. They knocked out the number 2 team, and the number 1 team was eliminated.
Yeah.
So they, by default, continue to get home court advantage throughout the rest of the playoffs, this round and in the finals.
Fixes that.
So, fixes it. I expect Golden State to come out and be all about business.
I expect the refs to be helping the Golden State Warriors out big time as usual. I expect Steph Curry to be getting phantom fouls. Klay Thompson to be, getting phantom fouls. I feel like the NBA wants Golden State to be in the finals. They want them. They want Steph Curry to
Now we know that's not the case. But they wanted, let's be honest, this is what they wanted. They wanted the Brooklyn Nets against the Los Angeles Lakers.
That ship sailed a long time
No.
ago.
That's what they wanted.
That's what they wanted a year ago.
They wanted that at the beginning of the season.
That was not what they wanted at the end of the season.
I said from the start that the Warriors were going all the way. This team was that the core is coming back with some other younger players mixed around them, experienced with mixture of veterans and younger players like Poole, around them, and they have enough to win. Now, here's what I think. I think they're going to be about business. I don't think they're going to have, because let's say, Memphis did give them a little bit of a run there because they were playing some good defense.
Without Ja Morant.
So now Dallas is, I don't think they're quite as the same as Memphis when it comes to
I got
defensive
Dallas
end.
beating the Golden State Warriors.
Boy. I disagree. I got Golden State.
Do you know why I have Dallas beating the Golden State Warriors?
Why?
Do you know what their matchup was this season? Out of the
regular
games,
season?
Out of 4 games they
what
played.
Was it?
Dallas won 3 out of those 4 games.
That's regular season.
Okay.
And what did Phoenix do to Dallas in the regular season?
Okay. They were tied. It went 2-2. Mm-hmm. They were tied.
And if I'm not mistaken, I guarantee you when Dallas played the Warriors in the regular season, I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson probably played none or maybe one of those games because he didn't come back until after Christmas. So this is a completely different team. We're talking a championship caliber team in Golden State that has their core players, championship experienced players with them. I don't see them blowing this at all.
Okay.
I got this going 5 games, and I don't even have it being close. I'll give a giveaway game to Dallas, maybe for game 3 or game 4.
So the Memphis Grizzlies went 6 games with these guys without Ja Morant, and you think that the Dallas Mavericks is led by Luka Doncic is gonna be they're gonna be beat in 5 games by this team that struggled to beat a young, inexperienced Memphis Grizzlies team.
I say 5 games.
Wow.
Doncic is gonna get his,
Wow.
but he may not score as what he's gotten this last series.
Dude, you got
so he might
Maxi
play some
Kleber.
defense on him.
You got Maxi Kleber on that team. You've got other players on that team that can make.
That's not going to do
that
much.
can make.
We'll see.
That can make plays. Who's going to stop Jalen Brunson? Dinwiddie's still out there. I know
Dinwiddie is not going to be putting up those numbers that he put up against Phoenix. He's not going to put those up.
I think that was the
Golden
confidence
States.
breaker. The confidence booster that he needed.
Bullock ain't going to do nothing. None of these guys are going to do anything. Bronson,
Okay.
Dinwiddie. Tim Hardaway's not coming back for this game.
No.
He's out for the year.
Nope.
Doncic, I don't know if they'll have an answer for him. They might try to contain him somewhat. He's going to get his. But they'll shut everybody else down like they did with Memphis down the stretch. So I got 5 games. Golden State going back to the NBA Finals to take on the Miami Heat. Go ahead.
Dallas Mavericks. I got this happening in 6.
Now you also had Memphis beating the Warriors in the last round too.
I told you what was going to happen at the end. I told you the NBA is definitely gonna favor the Warriors. I mean, come on, you saw them plays. I know you love your Warriors.
I'm not saying I love the Warriors. I think they're the favorite.
Let's be realistic with some of the fouls that you saw committed against the Grizzlies that were not called, and then Steph Curry's just navigating through traffic and decides to run into somebody, and that's a foul. Let me see. Let me dribble the ball, swing my hand. That's a foul. But these guys are getting hammered. I mean, they gift wrapped that series to the Golden State Warriors. In all honesty, they had no business winning that, especially Game 5. They had no business winning that. But anyway, that's my pick for the Western Conference. I have the Dallas Mavericks. I'm a Doncic guy. I think the team is really good. They shoot the three at a great capacity. They know how to shut down, the outside shooting. And if they can't shut it down, they match it. So I'm confident with this.
I'm sure you were. You were very confident.
I'm confident with
the
this.
Suns beating. With the Suns beating Dallas, you were very confident in that.
Well, I mean, the Suns were supposed to beat the Mavericks, man. I mean, we're talking about a number one seeded team. They had the best record in the NBA. Why would you think that a team that was so well, they were running like a well-oiled machine, to just falter against the Dallas Mavericks?
Maybe it's just
missing Tim
maybe
Hardaway
it's just
Jr.
something that gets your sense. And the naked eye, I already knew that Phoenix was not going to make it.
Because you don't like Chris Paul.
No, it's not that. It's they're one of their. It's that team. Franchise history goes, they haven't won in a long time. I consider DeCurcy will continue with that franchise. And then he had Chris Paul on the team, so come on.
Real quick.
So
before we get off of the Phoenix Suns, did you hear about the proposed trade that they were talking about for the Bulls? So they want to give the Bulls DeAndre Ayton and Dario Saric for Vucevic.
No.
And Kobe White.
No. That's giving away too much. Who is this Saric? He's got right ACL tear?
Yeah.
Really? So we're gonna go trade for some injured player who probably is not gonna play next season, and Ayton, who is just a mediocre player at best, in my opinion.
Chris Paul made him good.
So no. We'll give you our halfway decent players to your garbage players. No, that would be a stupid move.
That's what I heard.
That's exactly what that is. Proposed
trade.
And the Bulls aren't going to do that.
No,
that's not John Paxson.
Vooch is way better than Ayton. I'm sorry. I'll take him any day over Ayton.
So, that's a horrible trade. I hope they don't make that. So moving on. As we know, last weekend the NFL released their schedules. So we have to talk just a little bit about it because we are talking about our Bears. That's most important, is, Bears. Mm-hmm. So their schedule came out, and they are playing the AFC East, and they're also playing Houston for the games. But so out of the 17 games here, we were talking about this a few days ago, but we didn't get on camera about it. So we're quickly gonna go over this schedule here, and see where they are. Now, the Bears have, I think they said the fifth easiest schedule in the league.
I don't think so.
But based on what we noticed is happening with the moves that they made, they're going young here because they're rebuilding. So they start week 1, September 11th, at home, actually hosting the game for once. And they're hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully a revenge game from last year. If Jimmy G is still going to be on that team, and Debo's still on that team, then the Bears are in trouble. But, from the naked eye, we never know anything can happen.
First game of the year.
Now, that second week, they started early. They start the Packers in week 2.
That's a loss.
At the Packers. Okay?
No.
So, if you could possibly sneak up on the Packers. If you're going to lose, if you could beat them, you can always try to beat them at the beginning of the year because they're still getting their shit together, and Aaron Rodgers does not play preseason games. So he doesn't do the off-season workout, he doesn't play the preseason games. And it shows the first game of the season usually. But this is the second game, so who knows? If he's healthy enough to play the game, who knows? Then they play the Texans at home on the 25th of September.
We should win that game.
And then...
So far, I got 2 wins.
Okay, they say they screwed them over with the schedule. So they play the Texans at home, and then in October they have 5 games in October. They have at New York Giants, at the Vikings, against the Washington Reds. I'm sorry, Washington football. Oh, I'm sorry, the Washington Commanders at home, and then. They go to the team that they go to every 8 years, the New England Patriots in Week 7. But it won't be Tom Brady behind that under the center there. as the QB there. Be the first time the Bears are playing mac and cheese. And maybe they'll wipe the floor with them, that game. It's in New England, so we'll see. Then they go to the Cowboys.
They go to your boy Dak.
Yep.
Hopefully he's still healthy around this time.
And then in November they have 4 games. Finally, they don't play on Thursday. They don't play on Thanksgiving for the first time in how long? Jeez. So in November they're playing the Dolphins at home and the Lions at home, and they go on the road to play the Falcons, Atlanta rebuilding, and the Jets rebuilding at New York.
These are all winnable games in my opinion. Dolphins, Lions, Falcons, Jets. These are all winnable games. We can go 3 out of 4 at least on the schedule here.
December is very interesting. As we know, this season stretches into January actually, because there's 17 games now. So in December, the Bears are hosting the Packers on the 4th of December, and that's a noon game. So the first time, if I'm not mistaken, let me take a look at this. For the first time in a while, it's not. They always play the Packers in a primetime game. I was hoping that maybe they just played 2 noon games. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they're playing the Packers at home here at Soldier Field on Sunday, December 4th. Now, this is unusual. I've never seen the Bears have their bye week this late in the season. I know. Week 14.
That's old, man.
So they go 13 weeks, 13 games in a row before their bye week. They probably have one of the latest bye weeks in the season.
I think they do.
They're probably the last team to have a bye week. But then they come back at home, 2 home games. Well, actually, they really get 3 home games because in December they play the entire month of December at home. They play against the Eagles and the Bills. 2 tough games, probably 2 losses. Because the Eagles are a good team. They are a good team. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. Then you have the Buffalo Bills.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. Or maybe, Josh Allen. Tough. Now maybe
that might be a loss.
Maybe it might be a blizzard and Josh Allen can't play in Nicole, even though he plays in Buffalo. It might be different playing on the lake, and and he has a better game. The Bears
agreed.
So then we move into January. Yes, January. The Bears actually have 2 games in January. New Year's Day at the Lions, and then they finish the season at home against the Vikings. So it's interesting. They get 9 home games this season.
2 winnable games again.
And they start the season at home and they end the season at home, unlike the last couple of years.
All that I plead for, because I just said all these winnable games. We can win possibly 9 games based on this schedule this year. All that I'm pleading for, is for our future. We just need our future to deliver the ball properly.
Do you mean Justin Fields?
Yes.
The franchise quarterback of the Chicago Bears?
Yes, the guy that put up the worst numbers in the NFL last year.
His rookie season?
The worst numbers.
You mean his rookie season?
But he still put up the worst numbers.
Rookie season?
We're hoping that he's going to change, come from being the worst of the worst to leading us to, the promised land.
I think he can do it. He has my full confidence.
So
my full support, Justin Fields.
I'm saying with a decent quarterback,
a decent offensive line, some tight ends, some wide receivers that can catch. Maybe not some crap coach who doesn't know how to coach young players.
Does it sound like we have all that? Because we just have a bunch of players that are playing for 1-year contracts. Are we really gonna be competing like that?
Well, then in that case, the Bears need to tank then the whole season, then get a number 1 pick
and get a quarterback.
Now the good thing is if they do have a bad season, I think based on the moves that they made, I expect you have to start out crappy. Okay, they gave away everyone, which they had to do, and they had to rebuild. So this is gonna be a bad year.
So we have to watch crap on TV every Sunday.
Well,
so we get excited to watch them lose every Sunday.
Well, what are your expectations of the
winning?
Bears?
I expect.
No. I understand. Yes, but
this season coming, to play
but this upcoming season, what are your expectations of them?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yes, be honest.
I'll be honest.
Because I'll be honest.
And what I'm scared about my honesty is that it's gonna happen, and then we're gonna have Trevor Siemian is not that bad, but then the backup behind Trevor Siemian being Peterson, sucks. My expectation is going to happen is our future's going to try and do too much. Our future's going to get rocked. Our future's going to be sidelined by game 4. Then we're going to have Trevor Siemian step in. And Trevor Siemian's probably going to carry us for about 6 or 7 games until our future comes back from injury and stinks it up again. That's my expectation. Unless this kid shows me something, not preseason, because in preseason last year, Justin Fields was actually doing decently where he was saying, oh, this game doesn't look fast to me. The game's actually slow to me. Until the regular season started and he was getting picked off, like it was duck hunt. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Well, he was a rookie, so he learned from his mistakes.
I hope he did.
And, he has 1 year under his belt, and so he's how the NFL is and how to play in it now. And hopefully have a competent coaching staff that will give him the support he needs. Start with getting an offensive line to protect this man, because it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. If you can't protect your quarterback, you're not going to do anything but get your quarterback hurt. I don't care how fast you are, how accurate your arm is. You put the worst offensive line there for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. You put them on bad offensive lines, and they're not going to be able to do anything. They won't be able to do anything. Okay? So we need we need receivers who can actually catch instead of dropping the goddamn ball all the time, because that's what happens a lot the last couple of years. How many times have we seen that story? Okay. No matter who the quarterback was. How many games alone did the Bears lose because these damn receivers couldn't catch the ball?
A good 3 to 4 games was lost because of
there you go
of non-catches.
So you gotta have players that can catch. I'm just hoping that the scouting. Who's ever doing the scouting for the Bears is a different scouting unit than whoever was who drafted these last players the last several years. When they got rid of that coaching staff, that last regime, they got rid of their scouts as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but the schedules are out. Now next is training camps and preseason, which I believe the first preseason game is August 13th, so we're still some time away from that. About a little under 5 months away. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff is going to happen between now and then. But we'll keep you posted when it comes to NFL news, especially the Bears news. So we'll definitely keep you guys informed of that. With that being said, do you have anything else you want to get off your chest, Mikey?
Not really, not particularly.
There's no Ben Simmons story, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
except you said he had back surgery. I still think that's BS.
Well, he had successful back surgery, and he had pictures of it and everything.
Yeah.
So I'll be waiting to see a Ben Simmons appearance next year.
Just like Will Chamberlain's 100-point game.
Yeah, all facts.
Yeah.
But with that being said, my last thing, I know we talk sports, and it is unfair that I have not talked about this, and I think this is really unfair. WNBA, Brittany Griner. I think it's really messed up that it's been months now that she's been detained in Russia, and they just extended it another 30 days, just a few days ago, to keep her there over some weed vapes. I mean, right now, this is ridiculous for her to be kept away from her family, kept away from taking her freedom away in general. Like, send her back, man. If you guys don't want her playing in Russia, send her back here. I know she gets paid a whole lot less to play in the WNBA, but I'm pretty sure that she would be happy with her freedom here than being locked up in Russia over some weed. And I heard they were trying to trade her. Russia said they want to trade her for the guy called the Death Dealer, which was one of the biggest arms dealers of all time, selling weapons, missiles, and everything like that. So we have that guy in jail here, the Death Dealer, but they want to trade Brittany Griner, which is a WNBA star, sports, for some guy that used to sell illegal weapons. Crazy.
Well, I think it's because it's retaliation because how the U.S. doesn't like them doing the invasion, and they're like the leaders of trying to sanction Russia and stop them from anything, period until they pull out of the country of Ukraine. So that's just a retaliation. You know how it is, Russia. It's a coward country with a coward leader. That who knows, and it's just retaliation. Hopefully, she gets out,
soon, and actually she gets out alive.
Yeah.
Because that's the number one thing. Because I don't want to hear any accidents happening. Oh, they found her. She strangled herself in a cell. I don't want that happening. And you know how it goes for us. So that being said, I'm gonna keep updating on that because I've been reading about it, and it just kind of like it boils my blood that this is happening. And again, to Brittany Griner, that's ridiculous. That being said, we want to thank you for watching, listening. You catch us on Spotify, Google Podcast, iTunes Podcast, and of course YouTube. Sports opinions with regular guys. We got our opinions, just like everybody else does. Hopefully, you guys enjoy it and keep listening and keep watching.
All right, take it easy. Peace.